Hello, hello, dearest PMT family and friends. I greet you today from the shores of Lake Atitlan, where Pachamama speaks from her belly, through the active volcanoes, and Siwar sings overhead and feasts on the mimosa blossoms each morning. I'm actually a lifetime intermittent resident of the Antisuyu region, otherwise known as the Northeast United States and Canada. I warmly welcome each of you to this very special solstice gathering on behalf of the Antisuyu Council. Our current council members are Andrea Groves, sanctioned teacher in the Buffalo, New York region, Christina Jensima, longtime Mesa carrier in Maryland, Aaron Williams, Mesa carrier in Pennsylvania, Natty Howard, sanctioned teacher in Toronto, Canada, and myself, officially a New York resident. Before I go on, I want to pause for a moment and offer a great gratitude to Amy Mermaid Isakov. She was on the council for many years, and she has also been helping us to plan and participate in this event. So thank you, Amy, for everything. And more. Mwah. Our intentions for this solstice ceremony tonight are to honor the return of the light and to honor Don Benito's Misarumi's presence in our region. In August of 2025, at the Star Seed to Star Being gathering in Colorado, the three pieces of his Misarumi were reunited and given to Amy Mermaid to tend in the Seven Stars Sanctuary in Phoenixville, PA. What an honor that was. It was an auspicious, joyful moment for all of us present to see those pieces reunited, and especially for those of us residing in the Antisuyu region. Today, we remember our lineage and that moment in August as we look forward and inward to discover the new light-filled heart medicine emerging for each of us and our communities, our planet, and the cosmos. Thank you all for joining us. Christina will lead us in opening our mesas.
So hopefully I'm unmuted. Yay. I invite you all to just drop into your body. Bring your auric parts from wherever they may be around the globe back into your field. Take a deep breath in. We are going to begin by toning the directions. So if you have any Florida water, any fragrances, feel free to use them now. Rub your hands, cleanse your field, and we'll begin by holding your arms, your hands directed toward your mesa. And we're going to start with Pachamama. We're going to move to Mama Kia, Wiracocha, Inti, and Quichi. Take a deep breath in. Well, wrong one. It's working. I got Queechy in me. Pachamama. 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 With gratitude and great thanks to Gaia Pachamama, we ground and root ourselves deeply in her embrace. We move to the west with Mama Kia. Take a deep breath in. Mama Kia. Mama Kia. Mama Kia. Pause and feel Grandmother Moon, tutelaries of the west, dolphin and whale. With great moon eye, we move to the north. Take a deep breath in. Wiracocha. 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 Pause and feel. Tutelaries of the north, condor and eagle. Pause and feel. And we move to the east with Inti. Take a deep breath in. Inti. 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 Puma, jaguar, all four-leggeds. We give thanks and gratitude. We walk with you as we move to the center, the place of soul. Queechy. Take a deep breath in. Queechy. 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 Pause and feel. Tutelaries Yama and Alpaca. The center, our soul. A place of deep remembrance. We thank you. And if you haven't done so already, feel free to light your East candle. And I pass the flame to Andrea.
Thank you, Christina. That was beautiful opening. Thank you so much. Gratitude for everyone who is here joining us this evening. We are so excited to offer this beautiful winter solstice gathering And the time that we are in right now is so full of expansive and almost explosive energetic movements. We have here on the winter solstice of 2025, the year of a 9-year, we are still deep in the throes of the final new moon of 2025, and we are still abuzz with all of the energies of the Three-Eye Atlas that has made its way into our awareness and to our solar system. And there's so much questions and joy and clarity coming from all of these things. So we have this deep cosmic energy that we are in, and how auspicious and how beautiful that at this time the Misarumi, Don Benito's Misarumi, all three of these beautiful pieces have made their way into the place of the Antisuyu region, and we are just ecstatic and thrilled to be the recipients of this medicine, caretakers of this medicine through the overlooking of our beautiful sister, Amy Isakov, and her beautiful husband, Lance. And so just with all of this wonderment that is happening right now, the winter solstice is this time of the return of the light, the return of the days becoming longer. However, we're still in this we are still in this flux of darkness. And so it is within this time frame that it is so important for us to maintain our peace of mind, to really look at what it is that we want to seed for ourselves moving into through the winter season and into the spring season. We want to seed these things deeply within us. We want to get very, very clear with our goals and our dreams, and because this is the time when all things are possible and these things will be coming true for all of us. We are in this return of the light. We have the seeds will be germinated, they will be nurtured as the light gently comes forward. And so we are so grateful for this time of respite, this time of self-care, this time of ease. And even though now it's holiday season and there's all kinds of things happening, it's wonderful to just take a moment and settle in and be peaceful with ourselves. We're ending some big cycles, cycles that not just for this year, but maybe cycles that have been brewing for, decades. Maybe we're ending some generational cycles. And so in this energy, it is important and potent that we remember our community, remember to look askance to support when it's needed, right? To be present for those who are also walking this delicate line. We're also working within this new moon where we are looking at our shadows, right? The darkest time without the moon shining brightly. So it's almost as if, we have blinders on walking in the dark. So we have to take even more extra care. And so I invite you to be very, very mindful of that as you're purging and maybe recycling and regurgitating some of the denser hucha energies that have really been making their way up and out through happening within all arenas of Earthwalkers, right? Us here in the PMT community, but all of the other shamanic traditions and all of the other people who are very interested in seeing humanity raise up to its highest potential. We're all having the same heart space. We all want the same things for humanity to move forward in peace, and into the great time. And so this is such a beautiful expression of this offering. And so again, I just need to offer my gratitude. I'm thrilled to be part of this. And also within this darkest of times, we're calling in the adding of the return of the light. And so there's a paradox here where we are, in almost total darkness, yet the light is returning. And these things are a paradox, but they are also a yanantin, and they are primal pairs. And we are so blessed to have both be true and both be present. And so we need to, within this, we need to drop the illusions, any illusions that we have about who we thought we were. And we need to really step into who we actually are. And so this gathering, this bringing in the medicine of Don Benito's Misarumi is so potent and powerful, and we are going to be able to tap into this medicine as it comes flowing through the screen. We will be able to tap into that feeling. We will be able to grab it and tap into it as we need it, as we walk forward into our future. The other aspect I want to bring in before I turn this beautiful ceremony over to our next sister is I want you to ask yourself, how do you want to create your life, right? We create from within. And so light your fire from within. Plant the seeds from within. And we have all kinds of darkness to sit with this and let them ruminate, let them rest, let them become what they are meant to be. We are in a tremendous time of rebirthing, and we are allowing, through this shared experience and through this shared seeding, we are allowing a much greater resonance of the ripple effect throughout Pachamama, the entire world, through the planetary system. So again, so much gratitude for all of you for showing up and for being with us at this beautiful, auspicious time. And with that, I'm going to pass the flame to our dear sister, Amy.
So much, Andrea. Hello, everyone. Such a privilege to be spending this time and space with you on this longest of nights. As was mentioned, I am the current custodian of Don Benito's Misarumi, and will continue to let that unpack as our time is shared together. Yet before we get into the details, it would be my honor to share a story that Don Oscar shared with me just recently about how this Misarumi came into his possession. So I invite you to settle in and get comfortable and receive this story that comes to us about Don Benito Qorihuaman Vargas of Wasao, near Cusco, Peru. Alto Misayo, great coca diviner, ritualist, ceremonialist, and devotee of Pachatusan, the Apu that he was most deeply in relationship with. So in a moment, you are going to hear the voice of our beloved teacher, sharing the story of how this piece, which you can see on one side of the screen there, came to be one of the foundational pieces of bringing this Pachacuri Mesa tradition, this cross-cultural tradition, into the beating heart of this land here on Turtle Island. So, without further ado, let's hear Don Oscar.
So, let us bring ourselves into an imaginary realm in which we are in Wasao, and we are at Don Benito's residence, which is a very humble structure in which there are little cuyas, guinea pigs, his favorite little animal friends, running around making these little squeaky sounds. And it is the month of May of 1986. Just maybe a handful of days, 30 days before his passing. And he was aware that it was his time. And I was sitting there feeling his departure, feeling the loss. Much of my experience with Don Celso's passing flooded my consciousness. And I had been a very dedicated and devout apprentice and representative of the Pacocuna lineage and recognized as such by Don Benito. But there was always this envy on part of his other support ceremonialists, his grandson and his nephew, Martín Pineo. And normally, he would have handed me his divination bundle, his tawantin, with all of the apukuyas that he had collected on his pilgrimages. Yet, because of the status of my being only an intermittent apprentice and Martín being his primary apprentice, that bundled mesa, needed to stay in Wasao. So that went, the bundled mesa went to Martín. Don Benito had various other religious icons and objects. The Cruz Chonta, the Sepja, and the Cocha he had placed near his bed at all times, and he would bring the full Misarumi out when he would open up the divination space, unbundle his tawantin mesa that had broken leaves and untu fat, and it was a mess, and pulled out particular stone relatives of the Yapus that he was, an emissary for. And he would bring those stone relatives and pattern them as we do in the Pachacuti Mesa tradition with the 12 primary apus, with the Coricancha in the center, when he would do an open mesa, which was, rare, but it was important because he was passing over. So on that evening, he opened up both his bundled, laid down his manta, pulled out the Cruz Chonta, the Misarumi, the Sepja and the Cocha, because he kept that by his bed, and placed them separate. The Cocha to the left, the Cruz Chonta in the middle, and the Sepja to the right in a horizontal pattern. And then he invited us, all three of us, to go ahead and select one of them and begin to tell its story, its cuenta, to see if we remembered the cuenta that he had told us of each of those pieces. Now, you have to understand that he had several folk Catholic icons that he had collected, not pre-Columbian, but they were colonial. So he had another cruz chonta that he would place on the wall where he slept, but he would pull it down to do a transmission, when the situation was demanding. He did not use that one often, but that was his primary one. So the cruz chonta that I received was the one that he would use in public. The carpay that he would offer with his main cruz chonta, which is an ancient colonial one, remained in the hands of his nephew, Martin. So over that period of 3-4 days, many coca readings were done. Stories were told about his coming into power as a Curacacuyek. He told us always to remember to whisper our prayers, never speak them out loud, whisper our prayers to the Apucuna that we were connected with, specifically Pachatusan. Curiously enough, I just got an email, a message from Robin Van Loon in front of Apu Pachatusan yesterday, saying, remembering you. Anyway, so the night was full of his reminiscences. And he was feeling us out to see who would make best use of what. Martin had very high aspirations. He wanted to take over Don Benito's role in the Wasal community, and rightfully so. And so therefore, there was a tendency for Don Benito to, favor him. And I understood that perfectly. And then he also understood that there was a possibility that I would truly fulfill Don Celso's bequest to bring these ways to the northern hemispheres. So he wanted to be part of that also. He did want the Paco ways of that he had learned from the Apus to come to the United States and serve. But he never bequeathed or told me this is what you must do. He just knew that there was a possibility since I was fulfilling Don Celso's bequest. So, in a very kind of chaotic moment, he placed all 3 items that he had horizontal and made a Misarumi. And he placed it right in the center of that ceremonial space. And he asked me to go ahead and speak my prayers in Quechua, in Spanish, and to ask permission to keep the collective union of those 3 worlds as an axis mundi, as what we know as the Pachatusan, as the staff of life, to keep those and cherish them and be the guardian of them. And he evaluated the authenticity, the willingness that I had at the time to step out of the way and let this opportunity really be felt by the Apus. And all of a sudden, this huge wind picked up and it basically shook the roof of the house, and the flapping of the condor, the wings were heard like you do in some of these seances that are still practiced around Cusco in the dark. And he was unperturbed, but everybody else realized that I was being favored by the spirits that Don Benito had as his tutelaries. And that was enough for him to understand that I was, to be entrusted with those three artes because they were separate at first. And at that point, he picked them up, had me stand, did a carpai by touching him to my brow, to my sonko, to my koshko, rubbed me down, placed it in my hand, had me hold the Misarumi to my solar plexus, and just remained still until the winds calmed down. When the winds calmed down, he kissed me on my brow. And that was how I received the Misarumi. And I bundled it up in my little chuspa that I had with a lot of coca leaves and untu and all of that, and returned to Lima. And that was the last time I had the honor of seeing my beloved elder, and integrated it into the Kamaska lineage of the northern coast. And now you are the custodian of it. That was the process, to the best of my recollection.
I want you all to take a nice deep breath in and out, letting that story settle and wash through, breathing in this radiant and adorable face of our beloved mentor, Don Benito. If there was a part of the story that really struck you, fed you, resonated with you, feel free to put that into the chat as a way of feeding this story. And it is, of course, a story that continues, So this Misarumi was at the center of Don Oscar's Mesa for close to 30 years. And when the time came to pass it forward, it was initially passed into the hands of 3 women, of which I was one. And for the next 7 or 8 years, the 3 pieces lived across the continent of the US, and there was a beautiful dance and weaving between myself and these other women in the holding and tending of this lineage. And it was very special for me to hear actually that prior to these pieces coming together, that they were laid out separate. And to feel that resonance between me and these 2 other women. And it was originally distributed in September of 2017. And in this past August, as it was mentioned, it was time. And, these pieces really have a will of their own. There was a pull, a feel of, okay, it needs to come together. And then something happened when the pieces were reunited, where it became evident to all of us holding the individual pieces, that alchemical union was what was now most needed to support the continued flow of this lineage, the continued flow of this medicine. And at that point, also, due to a variety of circumstances, it came forward that I was in the position to be able to receive this medicine and to hold it on behalf of the lineage, which has been a very humbling process. And we will talk more about what all of this means. But before we do, I want to give you an opportunity to simply receive this medicine into all your bodies. On this winter solstice and new moon, there is an extraordinary energy of turning in. And the light that emanates from this Misarumi will be drawn like a magnet into that primed soil that each of you are. Oh, so for the next space and time here, I'm going to bring this beautiful Misarumi, which of course you all recognize, onto the screen. And I invite you, in whatever way feels good and natural to you, to breathe this in. Breathe it into your heart. Breathe it into your mind. Breathe it into your root. Breathe it into your wholeness and exhale any resistance. Receiving the woven wisdom of the lands it comes from Wasau, from Pachatusan, through the ecstatically integrated field presented to us by Don Oscar. Knowing that all that needs to be received shall be. Stepping into a place of deep curiosity and willingness. Oh, Don Benito Qorihuaman Vargas, gracias para todo. Thank you, Don Benito, for sharing your radiant heart and far-seeing vision and rooted steps with each and every one of us here and now, in this place where all time meets no time. If it feels good for you to do so, I invite you to take your hands and waft the energy in to your Hanan Uma, that higher mind, into your heart, that Hatun Sonko, and into that place just below the navel, that Wilka Koshko, bringing it into your three centers as you become awake once more to yourself as the Axis Mundi, as this staff of life, the staff of the world, reflects your truest, wholest nature. Another deep breath in and out. Thank you so much for being on this path with me, and to this beloved council for holding this space for us to root into the dark. And before I turn this over, I do want to make space if Don Oscar is on the call. I'm not sure if he is, but if you are, my beloved maestro, if you have anything that you'd like to add or share, you're welcome to unmute yourself and bring your voice into our space.
Por supuesto. Mi adorada. There's a little bit of a echo, I see. Let me go back to my background. Well, I'm all blurred out. How interesting.
Your sound.
Like a specter. Could you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Hello.
Hola. ¿Cómo están todos? So I do have something I'd like to share. And it is my love, my gratitude, and my undying, unwavering um, commitment to the soul journey that each of you are on during these very trying yet unsurprising times that we are living in. We've known of this Pachacuti for a few centuries now, and all of the signs in the skies, as well as the inner turmoil that is impacting our human race, is really food. It's really mihushanku. It's ritual nourishment for our next evolutionary step. So I have a little tale to share with you guys, and it goes like this, and I will send it to you. And it ties in with what you just shared with everybody else, my love. And I titled it When the Night Leaned Down to Listen, a Don Benito Reminiscence. And with your permission, Amy, and everybody else's, if you have another 5 or 10 minutes, I would like to read you this that I just finished writing right now as we were on this call. Do I have permission to read this?
Yes, please. That sounds like the perfect amount of time.
And it goes like this. A portentously rarefied wind slithered down from venerated Apu Chatusan's unmistakably serrated summit. By the way, those of you that have been to Pachatusan, you know what I mean, especially you, Amy. Flowing throughout the ancient Inca stone corridors and stair-step terraces of nearby Tipong Water Sanctuary, as if searching for a misplaced prophecy. I recall it as an uncommonly bleak, bone-chilling July night in 1983, a winter night so cold even the stars appeared to rub their hands together, coalescing and luminously revealing themselves as the celestial Chascamayo, the sacred river of stars, the Milky Way's rift. My then mentor in Peru's southeastern highland Alto Visayok shaman priesthood ways, the famed Kurak Akuyek, or master ritual masticator of coca, from Wasao, Don Benito Qorihuaman Vargas, he who walked like a rumor whispered by Coscomanta's mountain deities, sat before me, old as prayer, young as lightning. Directly in front of him, lovingly placed upon the hard-packed dirt floor of his one-room adobe abode, lay his tenaciously treasured tattered uncuña, so worn by age and ritual engagement that the threads themselves were imprinted with the memory of every Jaiwaricui Quintu Kawai divination ceremony held upon them. Gently holding a handful of fresh, unblemished, sweet-tasting coca leaves, he softened his grip, and with heartfelt, prayerful, trance-like intention, he allowed the coca leaves to gracefully cascade out of the wrinkled palm of his right hand and onto the uncuña, carefully observing the coca leaves scatter across the threadbare alpaca cloth, woven long before my parents had learned each other's names. He released the coca leaves with a gesture that felt less like a human motion and more like a spell deciding to reveal itself. The leaves fell, dancing in delight, as though surprised to find themselves alive. And then something impossible happened. The pattern configured itself as an exquisite mandala-like flower of life, faintly, subtly, as if the leaves were breathing, or better said, trying to crawl back into the story that gave them shape when the world was young. Don Benito's eyes flashed, two small eclipses shifting into alignment. He leaned in, listening, not to the leaves, but to the vast ancestral silence pulsing behind them. They are speaking to my soul, he murmured. They say the world has forgotten how to hush itself and hear. The tale he recounted rose from the throat like smoke escaping a crater. There will come an age, he said, when the earth limps beneath the weight of forgotten promises. And as you spoke, the shadows in the room thickened, not dark, but full, as if spirits had crowded close to see whether we were worthy of the story. And I was there also with both of those auxilios that you had mentioned, Amy, at that same time. He spoke of rivers turning venom black, of forests collapsing like exhausted elders, of animals falling mid-stride as though gravity had decided to no longer trust them. But the magic of the tale was this. Even the prophecies of ruin glimmered with strange hope, like cracked mirrors catching firelight. For he said that before the last tree bowed, before the final fish sank into the silt, those born from the first dream of earth, the ancient kin of stone, cloud, and fire, would rise again, not with weapons, not with sermons, but with memory. They would stand as the rainbow born, the Cuichi, Ayui, Pachamamang, the Inti Aruna, the children of the sun and moon, woven from the colors hidden in sorrow, summoned by the planet herself to remind humanity how to love a world that keeps giving despite everything. Eyes of light, daughter of stars, he said. He continued, she came long before any of us, he said, his voice thinning to a thread pulled through heaven. The revered Achula Ususi Kanchay Nawing, Eyes of Light was her name. From the Southern Cross she descended, not falling but choosing. Lake Titicaca received her like a chalice receiving its first sip of eternity. Where her feet touched the water, moonlight thickened into silver vines that curled around her ankles as though greeting an old friend. Her eyes, those legendary eyes of light, saw through time the way river stones see through water. She saw the greed that would one day spread like frost across the human heart. She saw the fish fantasy, the birds dropping like forgotten prayers, the forests unraveling into shadow, and still she smiled. And by the way, allow me to preface this little tale with the fact that Don Benito was a person, just like Don Celso, very, very few words. Yet there were moments where he would come into this almost oratorial, divinely inspired trance. And he would speak in this idiosyncratic Quechua-sized form of Spanish that was truly like listening to a bard of the ancient Celtic tradition. And even though there were words there that I could not even understand, they would just imprint me with an image, with a vision. So I'm doing my best to give you the best verbatim and poetic expression of what happened that night because it ties in with the Misarumi that you are now the custodians of in the Antisuyu in the Northeast, which is aligned with this prophecy. Very important. And still she smiled, because she also saw the ones who would return, the ones who would remember, the ones who would stand in the ruins singing creation back into coherence, the rainbow born. The tale then continued to unfold, as mountains tend to reveal themselves only to those who climb reverently and far enough to commune with an apuia. He spoke of the story keepers, the Wiarina Wakaichaikuna, those peculiar souls who carry a flicker of the original fire in their marrow, those who do not age like ordinary beings, they organically deepen. From them would rise the new old tribe, the luminous assembly of those who dream in color even when the world sleeps in grayscale. Kuchipa Ayui Pachamam. They would teach humankind how to kneel correctly before a river, how to greet a tree without lying, how to pray in a language made of breath, water, shadow, and gratitude. They would remind us that peace is not a treaty. It is a skill, a discipline, a way of arranging one's inner weather so the storms do not spill outward. And then the maestro continued, and the room changed. The fire cracked with sudden joy. The cuyas, his favorite guinea pigs, chirped dancingly. The smoke twisted into forms. The magic began to deepen. The forms that might have been animals or might have been memories wearing the disguises of animals made no difference. The room was alive with animacy. Don Benito's voice became the wind's voice. One day the earth will heal, he said, and even the coca leaves seemed to lean closer as he affirmed this truth. He saw clear rivers snaking through reborn valleys. He saw forests rising again like green laughter. He saw children playing without bargaining with the future. He saw communities choosing leaders not for loudness or lineage, but for the rare and precious skill of putting the collective heart above their own. He saw a world remembering how to be a world. At the end, his voice softened until it sounded like the inside of a shell. The day approaches when all nations will know they were kept alive by the stubborn hope of those who refused to abandon ceremony. He spoke of rituals as medicines, songs as technology, stories as calibration tools for realigning the human spirit with the pulse of creation. And then in that cold, trembling room, I and everyone else saw it. A great womb of light, cosmic and tender, opening like dawn through stone. We were being called home, not to place, not to doctrine, but to the center of Pachamama's, our Earth Mother's heart, where all things remember why they exist. This is the truth inside the myth. The Taripaypacha prophecy waits inside the Misarumi that we now carry, inside every living ribcage, pacing like a wild animal, hoping someone will unlatch the door. You have unlatched the door, my beloveds, for you are not spectators. You are participants. We are co-authors of this age to come, of the Taripaypacha. The rainbow born are not arriving. They are awakening in us, through us, as us. The loom is humming, the threads grow faintly, the pattern is incomplete in the process of becoming beauty incarnate. So choose. Choose with courage, choose with stubborn devotion, choose with the outrageous love of a species finally growing up. Choose in the name of Don Benito Qorihuaman Vargas, and choose in the name of our ancestors to walk not merely in beauty, but to walk as beauty incarnate, as the remembered future, as the prophecy choosing a body embodied in the Misarumi. So mote it be. This is my winter solstice offering of medicine to all of us. I love you all. Thank you for allowing me the time to share this little music.
Thank you so much, Don Oscar. Deeply received, and something for us all to continue to digest and gestate in this dark.
I hope to clean up the writing and put it on our Facebook page as well.
Thank
Thank you all for showing up for this. And Amy, as you well know, Apu Waskaran's got your back, sister.
Siempre.
And the Antisuyu Council, thank you, thank you, thank you. Looking forward to our time at Menla 2026. It's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. It is going to be awesome. Thank you so much, Don Oscar. What an absolute delight. I am now going to turn this over to my sister, Nadi, to carry this flame.
Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you so much, Don Oscar. We choose to enter this field of heart living medicine. We choose to step fully into restoring balance through Aini, just remembering the medicine of Don Benito, recommitting to becoming fire keepers of this ancient lineage in healing service to the 7 generations and beyond. We choose to embody right action to cultivate the inner space of compassionate love for self, other, the earth, the unseen realms, the cosmos, nature. We choose tonight to awaken the sacred fire of devotion that we feel is so alive in Don Benito's presence, anchored into his Misarumi, taught to us so deeply by your presence, Don Oscar. And so tonight we light this sacred fire, and I invite you all to pause, to feel, to receive this feminine inner flame of devotion, of sacred love, of compassion, of kindness, of forgiveness, of gratitude. And so bring a hand to your heart. Take a deep breath in. Feel the warmth and love of this sacred fire. Allow it to become a part of your own axis mundi in reverence to Pachatusan, the Apu who gifts us, honors us, blesses us with the gift of healing, permission of healing in service, in loving service. Take a moment to feel this sacred fire in your heart. Perhaps close your eyes. Invite this luminous flame of inner wisdom to penetrate your mind, to enliven your heart, to be deeply seated in your koshko as life force medicine. This luminous flame guides us through this time of the great turning, this time of incredible transformation, this time of ascension into greater love, greater unity, higher realms of consciousness, knowing deeply in our bones that we are interdependent, interrelated. We are interbeings. Feel this luminous flame burn away anything you've been carrying that no longer serves the call in your soul to stand, to step into Aini, to step into compassionate love, to step into luminosity, to guide the path forward. Whisper your most intimate prayer into Pachatusan through this sacred fire. Feel this sacred fire burning in your heart, expanding from your heart to the four corners of the earth, illumining Pachamama Gaia, bringing back our sacred relations in the cultivation of beauty, offering respect and dignity, stepping into cultivating your sanctuary within yourself, the space where the sacred meets your essence as a healing prayer. Allow this sacred fire to guide the alchemy of your becoming. And as you feel the flame of devotion within you, where is this fire calling you to awaken or perhaps expand? As we step through this ceremonial initiation that is this new moon, winter solstice, 3-eye Atlas conjunction, and this honoring of Don Benito's medicine as guardian, firekeeper of this lineage, and honoring Don Oscar's devotion, commitment to light the sacred fire in each and every one of our hearts. Choose to receive this blessing in healing service to all. Softly open up your eyes if they were closed. Scoop this sacred fire of devotion into your field. Into your Hanan Uma, illumined mind. Into your sacred heart. Into your Koshko lower abdomen. May your very heartbeat be enough and be the medicine that weaves us together, weaves us whole, that restores the forests and the beings, that restores our relations, so that we may stand together in the sacred altar of our hearts. Once more. I would like to pass this sacred flame to Christina. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. How does anyone speak after all that? So I'd like to read a poem from Alfred K. Lamott entitled Your Task. Does the sunbeam get tangled in the lace beauty of the dragonfly's wing? When spider weaves her web across the night, does she ever snare a star? Suffuse the world like water in a herring net without getting caught in the stories. Be more and more like the ripe moon hanging from an apple branch. Your work is simply not to fall asleep. The task of love. A current of kindness will flow up your spine to light the Milky Way. Its emerald wisdom rooted down in the vineyard of your loins. Drink of the shadow, taste of the fire. Cherish the womb of a deeper silence. Don't strive to get enlightened. Let your grieving be the manger. Give birth to your anointed heart, and remember that the sun and moon draw power and beauty from the stillness that moves your breath. And as we feel into the wisdom of everything that has been offered tonight, we give thanks. We give gratitude to all our relations. And so to close, we will intone the directions one time each, beginning with Pachamama. Hold your arms to your mesa, and if you don't have one, use your imagination, your imaginal prowess. Lock your elbows. Take a deep breath in. Pachamama. And as we move to the west, Mama Kia. Take a deep breath. Mama Kia. And to the north, we give gratitude. Wiracocha. Wiracocha. And to the east, Inti. And closing the spiral in the center of our soul, in the center of the mesa, Quichi. Take a deep breath. Quichi. Pause and feel in gratitude, in light and love, in sacred relationship, we remain. Bring your palms out in front of you and clap one time. 1, 2, 3. And Fukui. Thank you all for showing up. We love you, and we'll see you soon in Menla, Rainbow Drive.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you, everybody. Yes, there will be a gathering with Don Oscar next September in Menla. So right here in the Antisuyu. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And also, as most of you know, this has been an offering in support of the Heart of the Healer Shamanic Mystery School. This is the place where the teachings of Don Oscar are safeguarded. And if you haven't already and feel moved to do so, we invite you to make a donation to the Heart of the Healer. The link is in the email that you all got probably several copies of today. And just know that that goes to support the 7th-generation preservation of this work on behalf of our planet and the community and yourself. So thank you to the Antisuyu Council and to all of you, and of course to our beloved Maestro. Blessed solstice, and we'll see you hopefully very, very soon.
Apak inti raimi punchao.
It is so.
That's the winter solstice. Love you all. Thank you so, so much for showing up. Every little drop in the ocean of transformation counts. Mwah.
Mwah.
Until next time.
Until next time. Blessings, everyone.